Hello and welcome. My name is Michelle, and today we have a very special topic. I was terribly wrong when I first typed my beautiful, loving, smart, ingenuitive, dependent, etc. I could go on forever, but we only have a limited amount of time. My beautiful boyfriend, Tim, I mistyped him. Apparently he is an INTJ, and we're here to get the details, to get the facts. Why?
So we're here today to admit a falsehood that I have pushed onto you guys over and over and over again, lying to you all about the truth, not intentionally lying, but not intentionally recognizing the fact that I could be wrong, and for that I apologize, because for the last 5 years I have been saying that you are an INFJ, and I think there's a few reasons why that happened, so we'll break that down in a sec. But this video in particular we're doing so that we can kind of talk about why it is that we thought he was an INFJ.
Why you thought?
You kind of agreed.
How?
Okay, now you just rescind all your...
Put you on the spot. Yeah, like...
Rescind it all.
I don't know. I mean, like, the way you described... It's personality, the ambiguity of it all. Like, any set of numbers could be anything at any given time. Like, just because you're a feeler doesn't mean you lead with a more thought-driven, logical-driven. I mean, it's like I said,
right.
But
I mean, I guess we were thinking more along the dichotomies. We didn't really delve that deep into the cognitive functions, and when I did, I incorrectly assigned certain functions to you. It was a blissful October Eve, and we were sitting in a bookstore in Denver, and I made him take the test on my phone, and he got INFJ. And from then I was just like, all right, you're an INFJ, and I stuck to it, and I stuck with it, and I was like, all right, there's no reason to question it. And then I was actually at the time also kind of obsessed with the idea of dating an INFJ, because the person...
we know the real motive, why we got to this point we are. You're just
it's true.
It's like you were...
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Like getting like the holographic Charizard or something, like the first edition. Like, this is what I've been craving.
This is what I've been needing. This is
what I've been craving.
Lo and behold, it's...
Even though it doesn't suit your deck completely, you still are just blindly like, I love the look of this card.
Yeah. Yeah. But it turns out it did suit the deck. So yeah, you took the test. I thought you were an INFJ, and I wasn't really very in-depth with how much I looked into MBTI at the time. I mean, I was obsessed. I talked about it a lot, but I wasn't really delving deeply into it, because I don't know why. I don't know when I turned from mildly obsessed to obsessed. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, I mean, in the last couple of years, I started looking more into the cognitive functions. And rather than question your cognitive functions or question whether or not you do align with them, I looked for how you aligned for them. So I looked for how you matched up to the type that you tested as, rather than trying to figure out your true type, because I was like, oh, you took a test. Obviously, that test is right. It seems right. Let's just go with it. And because of that assumption, now I've personally built a whole lot of mental constructs around what it means to be an INFJ, using you as an example, which now I actually have to deconstruct a lot, because you're definitely an INTJ, and I'm shooketh that I was
definitely.
I guess in my percentage now, I can't even say percentage. You can't say that I'm too confident in the moment.
I'm doing the interview now.
Oh, okay.
I have a question for you. So how has, since changing the F to a T, how has that changed your perception of our day-to-day, or maybe your predetermined assumptions of how I'm gonna react to something you bring up to me. You know what I mean? If you previously thought I'd be more like compassionate or like empathetic, is it now you think I would be more like, well, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like how has
That's
it changed?
a good question.
Yeah. It's hard now, isn't it?
I'm full of those.
It's hard, right? One of her questions was like, why do you think you're not an INFJ? I'm like, I don't know what it is to be an INFJ. Like, what do you mean?
No, but I think that's a really good question. Like, how have I changed my perception of you by changing my understanding of your type?
I would genuinely like to know, and I kind of, I guess, don't look at it like I know you really like MBTI and Myers-Briggs and stuff, but I guess I don't really until this moment, actually, like literally this moment. I've never really thought of how your understanding of like the types and the numbers and the leads and could like kind of shape your perception of our day-to-day lives.
You know, that's a really, really good point to bring out. And that's not something that I've really thought about very much either. But like as you're saying it, and I'm trying to reflect on the last couple of weeks, because it's been like about a week and a half now.
Like the spike, like the climax of like INFJ, and then it's like INTJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've been considering it for like a year, but I think once I made the decision, I do feel like I feel more relaxed around the way that you are. I mean, I've been around you for like 5 years. We've lived together for 4+ of those years. And so like I've seen you and I've been around you enough to like know what your habits are like and to know what it's like to live with you, to know the kind of things that like upset you and the things that you like. But I guess I was always still like searching for that thing that I feel like I should be getting from an INFJ. Like I've just been like waiting for it, anticipating it. And now that like I realize that you're an INTJ, I feel more relaxed. Like I don't need to look for anything else. This is just exactly who you are.
So you're like looking for something to gain from an INTJ or what? Or it's kind of just like that thing that like void has been lifted. I guess,
right, like that thing that I've been looking for to like complete the INFJ-ness and like what I was hoping to gain from the INFJ-ness. I realize now what is and is not going to happen by knowing your type. And I know that sounds like stupid because like obviously I've known you 5 years. I've had plenty of time to figure what I am and am not going to get. But I think changing the type perception has affected how I feel about you and like what I can expect from the relationship.
Well, I mean, the more you're delving into this, I mean, given all of your content is correlated with this cultish ideal or not okay, whatever, like a cult for lack of a better term, like it's like a religion in a sense, like it's a way of being. It's and you know, you're like using this for an understanding. So after all, like especially within this last year, you put out so much content, and obviously there's research and there's collaborations and discussion involved. So it's like become a lot more prominent in your life, like tenfold. So it's gonna hold more value in your life. So you know, if that holds any weight, that's probably I would imagine that's why you're more like relaxed with the transition. You know, because you understand it all more. Yeah. I'm not like looking for something that's not there and trying to like validate something that's incorrect and like trying to fit an outlier into the main group. Because that would be like a lot of what I would do if your behavior didn't match up with the INFJ personality. You're more unbiased.
Right, exactly. I think I am now recognizing like where I'm wrong. And I know there are other places where I'm wrong. I've been wrong about my sister, and it's because of having YouTube and like having other people to watch her and give me feedback. I've been able to realize like what my understandings of the functions were and what is actually fact. The cat is just meowing outside the door.
And normally she would be like, meow.
And I sufficiently lost track of what I was saying.
About how like you've adapted and become more like realistic towards the ideas of like the individual types.
Yeah, because I've admitted that I'm wrong in certain areas, it's kind of frustrating to admit that you're wrong. But then I realized, like, why would I be attached to something that I was wrong for? Like, why should I be attached to that decision? Because it's not even like I put much thought into deciding it. I went with what the test said and I confirmation biased the rest of it. I like looked for information that matched what the test results were rather than really like trying to understand the system itself. So I think that the best thing that we can do now at this point is to kind of go over some of the reasons why I changed my mind and how things are playing out now. So there's a few. I mean, okay, so let's start at the first time when I started questioning. So when I first posted an interview he and I did last year, it was almost a year ago, we were talking about INFJ, ENFP stuff, and at the time, like, you were very, like, MBTI opposed in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of comments where people didn't agree with my typing of you, and, like, we were trying to talk it out, and I wasn't necessarily shooting people down. I was just saying that I don't agree with, like, their reasoning they were giving me wasn't strong enough to convince me to change my mind. But I did start questioning it at that point. And I even had a friend tell me via like an Instagram chat that he thought that you're an INTJ. And he and I had often aligned on a lot of like typings that we did for celebrities or other people. Like, we're often aligned, and to like hear that we were so off about one kind of like made me question it more, knowing like that I could see where he was coming from with his typing.
Like, Michelle, get out. He's a T. It's not an F, it's a T. Get out. Get out.
Recently, though, I've started actually paying more attention and questioning it more, especially in the last few months, because there's been a few instances which made me really stop and think, how would a typical INFJ handle this situation? How would a typical INTJ handle this situation? And then a lot of times I was finding myself leaning more towards the INTJ, and that's especially in social situations. I've always considered you really charismatic. Like, when we get in a group setting, you know how to talk to people and like get everyone on the same page and like have a good, enjoyable conversation. Like, I feel like you're really good at knowing what people are going to want to talk about and talking about that. Like when we were at that Friendsgiving party in at Brandon's place. Yeah. Like, you were just kind of almost the life of the party. I mean, you weren't like being excessively dramatic, but like people liked talking to you. You were starting a lot of conversations with people. And that's pretty like common for an INFJ, not as much an INTJ. And it seemed like that charisma was like an extroverted feeling kind of charisma. But then more recently, you've been having more issues interpersonally, and I've been trying to like evaluate why those issues are stemming, like where is the source of that. And I think that the source of that comes from an unwillingness to budge on who you are on yourself. Like, you want to be authentic to who you are. You don't want to have to sugarcoat anything that you say for anyone else. You don't want to worry about offending people. You just want to like say what's on your mind and just have it out there. But a lot of your friends tend to react negatively and think that you have negative intentions when you don't. So like, there's a lot of people misinterpreting what you're trying to do, especially in the text format, not as much in voice, but sometimes.
Is that like a commonality of
for
an INTJ?
Yeah, accidentally offending
to
people.
To be like, I guess, misunderstood?
Yeah, because they tend to be very direct with what they think, not really holding back when they disagree, or like when or like not being afraid to like challenge people. Like you and Brandon in any situation is a perfect example of how you guys kind of both go on the offense and like fight each other's ideas down. And
because he's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. Whereas an INFJ, they might not like it. They might not enjoy doing it, but they're really good at managing the group and like
but that's so
not
passive.
Offending people. Not necessarily to them, because to them that could be to their advantage. It just depends. But that's
still like construing the situation and just like it's almost like manipulating. It's not giving like real motive. Like they're basically like diluting from what actually is going on or what people actually think for the sake of like humility. You know what I mean? Or is that the right word? Like humility, basically like a cohesiveness between whatever X scenario, individuals, setting.
I mean, you could definitely look at that. I'm not like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to like segue into the like berating wow. what you thought I actually was or whatever.
How dare you think I would sacrifice myself?
How absolutely dare you?
It's more about, like I was trying to explain before, the extroverted feeling versus the extroverted thinking, and which one is preferred. And INFJs are very notorious for being very like uplifting and kind to people in the moment and kind of neglecting themselves in a way and like forgetting to take care of themselves and stuff. And I feel like taking care of yourself is not something that you struggle with much at all. Why does that have to be a funny thing?
It's just kind of like, you selfish prick. It's just like what I'm hearing like underneath or something. I mean, I know that's not what you mean, but like it's just funny. Like, yeah, they're not afraid to, you know, like just be selfless. But these TJ like
no, that's actually an unfortunate stereotype.
This will be our last interview, and I will never exist. She will never bring me up ever again. This is it. Remember me. Remember me.
That's actually an unfortunate stereotype in the community about introverted feeling, is that it is selfish. That's like a word that people often use to describe it, because a lot of what I said is what society considers a selfish mentality. Even though it's not. Like, taking care of the self is important, and taking care of what you want is important. The other thing that kind of made me realize your INTJ-ness rather than INFJ-ness is paying attention to how you go about delving in and digging into understanding things. So, like, a thing about INFJs is that they tend to be a super philosophical type because they really like to dive in and deep dive and understand things fully and understand people and human motivation. And that's like a big, it's a common thread. It's not all of them, obviously, but the thing about it is they like really delve into subjects and try to understand them fully, and will sometimes get too far down into those rabbit holes and lose track of like the practical application of the information they've learned. Whereas for you, really the main times that I've seen you like get down and dirty with learning something is when it has an application immediately. So like your computer building, for example, I think is a really good way to showcase that. So when you decided you were gonna get your computer, you first of all ended up getting like a bunch of different laptops. You were trying out all these different laptops. He did so much research on what were the best laptops, but then would get them, and then there would be X problem or Y problem.
Be running extremely hot, yeah.
Yeah, there'd always be some kind of problem. And at the time I was like, look, you should get a PC. You want a PC for everything. And he was like, no, I want a laptop. I want the portability. You know what's so funny is that the only reason he wanted the portability is because he was going on a trip in like 3 months, and he wanted to make sure that he had a laptop for that trip 3 months from now, rather than
planning ahead.
When you decided to get a computer, like an actual PC, It was like 6 months after that situation. After
No, not that long.
Oh, was it less than that?
I mean, the whole ordeal from like the concept, like the like conception of like deciding I wanted like a new computer to like finishing this PC was probably like 3.5 months tops. For
Oh, okay, yeah. And for half of that time, once you had made the decision that you're going to buy the computer, you binge watched so much tech YouTube videos and learned about every single processor, graphics card, CPU. I said CPU and processor; those are the same thing.
It's confusing, dude. It's confusing. I was getting to the point where I was watching like 25-minute videos and like only understanding if even like 40 seconds of the video. Like it was, these people are insane. Like it's just something you have to like invest so much time. It's almost like learning an instrument. Like it really is. Like, but more so like the memory is literally like remembering all the parts and components and how they like unify. Like, and it's not so much like actually moving your body, or you know what I mean? Like it's insane. So yeah, I was watching like Linus Tech Tips and like Jay's 2 Cents and Bitwit and stuff like that. And these guys are like literally, they own like their own shops and they have whole teams. And like, I mean, seriously, like I said, getting such small, minuscule amounts of information out of a giant, investing so much time, like. But yeah,
you sure collected plenty of information.
So trust me, you think you don't know much. I feel like I still know absolutely nothing, and I built a computer. After all of that, I mean, we're probably, I can't, a rough estimate of all the time spent with just like forums and videos, probably
at least 100 hours.
Something, yeah, 70 plus hours at least. Yeah.
A lot of time.
Just for a PC. Probably some like, I'm sure some of your viewers are like, you know, PC builders or advocates or understanding. They're probably like, that is so much freaking time. What the hell did you even learn? Or like, were you even paying attention?
What he would do is after watching like a few videos, burst into my room and tell me all about the differences between two of the processors.
Maybe it was like, for me to help me remember or something.
I think it was for you to like process the information in a way.
To become more prominent, to like push it forward in my like memory or something.
You were like, if I get the AMD with 12 core, if I get the Intel with 8 core, like blah, 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 this is all what this would happen, and this would happen, and this would be the consequence like 10 years from now. And like, if I get this one, then this would be the consequence. And I was like, okay.
But I decided on the AMD and it paid out. I love the CPU.
You have a beautiful computer.
Thank you.
It looks very nice. It's aesthetically pleasing.
There is RGB. Everything RGB. The RGBs have RGB.
Yeah, everything on his computer setup has RGB.
Which is RGB.
RGB.
But it's just like pretty lighting, basically, like all the little components inside.
Flashy lights.
Yeah, just lights and stuff.
Rainbows circling basically up and down. And he had to like have it timed perfectly so that the rainbow went in the perfect way.
Yeah. There was a little hub where you had to connect all like the fans that spin, and the fans have the RGB, so like all the colors rotating. And I set up the hub in like wrong, where basically one light was flashing a color before the other one, so it wasn't like a perfect.
And he's like, "Oh man, did Tim ready get sick of solos?" And they're like, "No, he actually was playing with some friends, and apparently they won."
Green.
Like comparing where the dead weight and shit.
It was very random.
Anything that takes time automatically is of a higher value because you used all that time to set it up, and if anything goes wrong with something that you spent all that time working on, that to you is like the most frustrating.
Look at how pretty that looks, as opposed to before. There was like various cables hanging every which direction. It looked ugly. And now it's like you just look at it and it's all kind of like, oh my God, it's so neat. Like it's so much time was invested in just like these I'm sure, like, completely irrelevant details that most people would look at it and be like, I don't care about my fucking cables. I just want to use the damn thing. Like, to use the computer. Me, no. I gotta walk in and be like, that's a beautiful looking setup. I want to play on that.
What does that do for you, having it, like, look beautiful? Like,
it's like a sense of just satisfaction. I don't know. It's like comparatively similar to like getting like the winning goal or something, or I don't know. It's just like looking at it and just like recall or just like fathoming what a crappy setup would look like. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that it looks this way. Like genuinely, like it just looks nice. I mean, it's funny I'm describing this and I can't even see what it looks like, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's aesthetically pleasing, and it creates a sort of zen state in my mind where there's like structure, there's like order, I guess, not to sound like some fucking dictator or something, but like literally there's just some kind of like order, balance, like power, but structure, stability. I don't know. Yeah.
So there's like power
in what it can do, and like everything. I mean, there's books there's a PC, there's beautiful speakers, there's an Xbox, there's like my phone, you know, there's writing material and stuff. Like there's all of that there, all the potential of possibilities. But there's also like it looks nice. Like it's something where I would spend time at, as opposed to your room where there's just trash and junk everywhere. And
what are you trying to say?
And bags of used guinea pig bedding and hay and candy wrappers, and you people don't see this.
I'm not very clean.
You only see like what she wants you to see. But if any of those videos that she's posted, she just picked up the camera and like turned it 45 degrees, you would see hell. You would see absolute chaos. And you would understand. You would understand where I'm coming from. Part of me just wants to pick up this damn camera and abandon this interview and just take it into the room and so you can see what's going on.
It's evil.
So you can see. Is that evil? No, I'm letting the people know. It's like...
I've admitted that I'm not the cleanest.
How did you word it exactly? Do you recall? Because it was probably an understatement. Whatever you said was probably an understatement.
I think you're overstating how bad it is. You can walk around in my room. What are your opinions of MBTI now?
Well, I mean, it just depends, but I guess generally speaking, I could see how it serves like a purpose. Basically like an understanding of like, I could see how it like serves a purpose in like understanding yourself. Especially I think it's good for like the younger crowd, I guess. 'Cause I remember growing up, like, I mean, especially hitting high school, I had no freaking clue where I was. I remember going through like a metal phase, like just being very like dark and like wearing like Lamb of God, like Slipknot kind of shirts and whatnot all the time, just having that like persona, and then being like country, like I remember just listening to country music all the time.
Oh man,
like wearing camo and like having the camo Budweiser hat. I remember, dude, I swear to God.
A camo? I can't even imagine you in a camo Budweiser
just like having like that like southern drawl and stuff.
Oh
like kind of like it just naturally came out. It's just literally naturally. I don't even know. But so I had basically my point being is I had no idea who I was. Like I didn't understand myself at all. I guess I didn't really care to even look into who I was. That was like this MBTI stuff. I mean, I know it's existed for a long time, but I had no idea it existed till you told me about it a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. But for the younger crowd, I think it's pivotal because it sets you up for success it's like, you know, I could start playing piano today, and then from this moment on, you know, however much time I invest, I progress and get better and more accustomed to. It's like the same with understanding yourself, like really delving in to like who you are, understanding yourself at a young age like that. I mean, that sets you up for like a better future quicker. It's to come quicker, a better understanding.
Right.
I mean, we're always changing, always adapting with every single situation we're in, every sense we process, whatever, every conversation. So starting that young, where it's really seeping in, where it's really prominent in your life. I can remember like so many memories from when I was younger, like in high school and stuff, but I can't remember, you know, from a couple weeks ago sometimes at this point. So it's like, that's more so my point, is like starting at a young age like that. So like having this like basis or grounds to like why I think this way, or like, holy crap, like, you know, this sounds like me, this FE or SI or whatever the hell, you know. Like, so it's just commonalities, common ground to build and expand off of. This idea just spider webs into like just helping you in discussions, understanding people, friendships, developing better friendships, you know, jobs, just confidence, just lots of things. So in that regard, I appreciate MBTI. You know, I think in a certain sense it can be limiting with just like, oh, you know, I'm labeled, or a bunch of people think I'm this, so I can only think in this realm of possibilities. So that to me is kind of like a cultish, like religious, like archetype. But generally I think with the right mentality, which I imagine most of the community has, being more open-minded to different possibilities, it can only you know, you can only expand and like solidify your personality type, you know, to make you a better person and just only give you success in life.
Yeah. I really am so jealous of like the teenagers that come to my channel and say they already found out about MBTI. They're like 14, 15, 16. I get legitimately jealous because when I found out about MBTI, there was only like 2 YouTube channels out there that did anything of value. And not to say that there weren't other ones, but they were like the 2 big ones. And at the time, they weren't talking about a whole lot about the cognitive functions. They were still talking about the types and the overall, like, how this one type is and how that one type is, and not really, like, breaking it down fully. And I really wish that the content that's around now had been around when I was that age, like, especially in the visual medium, because I am such a visual learner. Having somebody speak to me and being able to like watch the diagrams on the screen, like as they go through, like this is what this means and this is what that means. It helps a lot.
Imagine having that understanding like when you were younger. I mean, when it really mattered the most. I feel like I don't care that much about relationships at this point with like new people. Like I don't look into it that much. But like back then, I mean, imagine having like that understanding. Like if you reacted very like pessimistically, you're just like very you were very worrisome when, you know, you just like misinterpreting a text in a group discussion or something like that, where you're like, oh my God, like they didn't invite me to this thing, like they must all hate me, or they didn't include me in whatever this may be, or just whatever. So it's like you look into it and it's just, you go into, I mean, I recall this when I was younger, just like being very like cynical and pessimistic and sad, like I'm a loser, or just they don't like me, or man, like I've been with these friends for years, or what I considered friends, when in reality, you know, with these tools that you have with you now, you could kind of deduce and be like, oh, well, this is just, you know, this is kind of my type, so I more so look into these things and maybe like overanalyze.
Right.
So it's like it's like a general basis, like, oh, it's not just me, like I'm not just crazy, or I'm, you know, it really makes you feel ironically, when you feel so alone reading, you know, or looking into things like that, where you're like, no one likes me, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, you would do a complete 180 and you're like, with this information I have, I'm like, I'm not alone, you know, because this is just kind of like a prominent way of structuring thoughts out or situations because of my type or my sensory or whatever. So it generally comes down to perception with any type you are, but you know, like just even looking back very personally, I'd be like, man, if I had some kind of basis to go off of, like, holy crap, I'm not alone, or like I'm not just looking into this, or I mean I am, but it's like kind of what I do,
right?
And it's not weird, it's not obscure, it's normal,
right?
You know?
And then there's help there too. Here's the things that you could focus on instead.
Mm-hmm.
So like with MBTI, there's a lot of focus on developing the weaker side of your mind, the things that you neglect for those things that you're over focused on. And MBTI helps you see what you can focus on more to make yourself more balanced, which I think I do think to a large degree balance makes you more happy because you're not neglecting one area of your life. You're giving both areas the right amount of attention, or all the areas, or however you want to say it. So you guys can't even understand how like monumental this change has been too, that you're like talking like this. It's monumental. I mean, the video that I posted, which I'll link up in the top card so you guys can watch if you want.
Oh God.
He had a completely different view on MBTI. Pretty much everything you said was you basically dislike it. Well,
I was also in a pretty bad place at the time with all like the panic attacks and stuff. So I didn't have much time to like look in and out like an exterior perspective. It was all internal, struggling with my own crap I had to deal with. So I didn't have any like mental capacity to look into this any further. So I more so, I mean, I did it because I loved you and wanted to, you know, help your channel or whatever. Just come on because you were begging and begging.
I did beg a lot. I was like, please.
You did beg a lot. Beg a lot.
Beg a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I completely forgot. So I think that's a great place to end our conversation. I think that we've really shown and given good examples of why I've changed my mind, and you're going along the ride with me because, you know, So what do you guys think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? You probably already have told me every type that you think he is already, so feel free to lay it in on the comments. That's what they're there for. I mean, I'm open to be proved wrong again. I guess I can't say that I'm fully confident, but I feel pretty darn confident that this is more right than I was. So
I guess that's up for you to determine.
Yeah, I guess
the individual.
There is no one singular authority for this subject, so it can be kind of difficult to determine what's like actually true.
You're like, I'll take in your opinion, but it's wrong.
I tend to do that. It's unhealthy. Don't be like that. Don't be like me. It's so hard. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Tim, do you want to plug yourself real fast?
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked that, because I just started streaming a couple days ago. I guess getting more serious with it. So yeah, I don't know if you guys enjoy. I mean, I definitely can't promise I'll always be this entertaining, but I'm always down for discussion. Maybe not always so philosophical, because sometimes I feel like it's kind of redundant, but if you guys want to hang out, you know, I stream. I'm kind of more of a variety streamer. I have recently been doing just like Call of Duty, League of Legends, you know, various. I do like spooky game Saturdays and stuff where I have like I'm planning on doing like Dead Space and Resident Evil, like Amnesia, The Dark Descent, stuff like that. So definitely there's a lot of things to come, because it's very up and coming and I have a lot of cool ideas. But if you are interested, it's twitch.tv//dash of sanity. she'll have I will force her. I will hold her down and force her to put links in the description so you can go. Give me a follow. Go hang out. I'm planning on doing a normal schedule of like 4 or 5 to 10 p.m. Central Time just to start and see where it goes from there. But yeah, I'm planning on big things coming from the stream, and hope you guys decide to come and check it out. Back to you.
Check it out. Check it out. It's fun.
It's my hype girl.
I really like when you and both the Matts and Gumby, all 4 are playing, because you guys have like the best dynamic between the 4.
They could be so complainy though and like cynical. Man, you want to see some personalities? Yeah. If you want to figure out some personality types, you can go and figure these people out and let me know, because I'd be curious how to understand them more.
It's a fun group. I enjoy watching them. They crack me up. But anyway, check it out. The links are down in the description. The link to our other video is going to be down there. And if you like this video and want to see more interviews with people of different types, you want to see more of this guy right here, and you want to just talk about personality and chillax. I just said chillax. How do you feel about that?
Man, you have such an ego now. Now that you had 5,000 subscribers. 5,000.
5,000.
I am so proud of her.
Go ahead and like and subscribe. Make it 10. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a beautiful, amazing, fantastic day.
Bye-bye and farewell.
Bye.
Wait, what do you say? You say like, hello, welcome to
Hello, and welcome.
Hello and welcome.
Oh, we can do it together.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
That was great.
It was.
I'm actually very impressed. That was really good. And I couldn't have said it better myself.
We're watched here. A lot of your videos.
I'm wrong.
Kind of. The intros, at least. Most of your intros.
I'm pretty impressed. Mm-hmm. Very spot on.
Yeah, very like newscaster.
You even got like the voice, the way I talk.
It's very,
a little over the top. Can't help myself.
Yeah. A lot over the top.
I know, it's funny too, watching like my older videos where I'm just like, hi guys.
Yeah. No, you gotta have like the thing that
confident.
sticks immediately. Yeah. Like when the video starts, you gotta have that like boom, like this is Michelle. Yeah, I'm talking with Michelle, or I'm watching Michelle's video.
I think I'm getting
anyone else. Yeah, you gotta have your like there's a streamer that I watch, he'll start his intro every time with the same song, and then like everyone's anticipating the like kind of like the drop or like the bridge of the song, where he'll like basically loop his stream where it keeps showing like repeats of the image. So there'll be like 20 of him, and he'll just do like a heart, and it sounds cute. It sounds silly, but yeah, like so everyone knows that is Winter Gaming. He streams StarCraft, but anyways.
Oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. That's actually really sweet.
But yeah,
I need to do something more over the top.
It's really cool. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea for your channel.
Mine's not over the top enough.
No.
Kind of depressed with myself.
It needs to be something cool, like a little get the like the spirits moving, something really high energy.
Right.
Not just kind of like, hello and welcome.
But I get my whole body into it.
You need music. You need some kind of like choreographed.
Like cool.
Even something like you have your camera like looking at the door, and you just walk in all like super peppy and stuff, like something cool, like Mr. Rogers, how it like started, it zoomed into his house and he walks in the door and like takes off his jacket and puts on the sweater vest or whatever, you know what I mean? It's something very methodical.
A Mr. Rogers
not necessarily, but like that was kind of like the whole premise of what I was talking about this last bit. But yeah, just an idea. I mean, a very, very good idea that you should definitely do.
Well, you'll definitely get all... Just an idea. Just an idea. Just throwing that one out there, seeing if it sticks. So...